Good morning all. Today we are going to see the facial nerve. So facial nerve. Now facial nerve, it is the seventh cranial nerve. There are total 12 cranial nerves and facial nerve is the seventh of it. Facial nerve, it is a nerve of second branchial arch, that is the hyoid arch. So it is a nerve of second branchial arch. It consists of two roots, motor root and the sensory root. The sensory root, it is also called as nervus intermedius. So there are two roots, motor root and sensory root. Now we are going to see the functional component of the facial nerve. But just to summarize, the facial nerve, it is chiefly motor to the face. Then it is secretomotor to submandibular, sublingual and lacrimal gland. It is secretomotor to submandibular, sublingual and lacrimal gland. Then it is gustatory to anterior two-thirds of the tongue. So this is just an introduction of the facial nerve. Now coming to the functional component and nuclei of the facial nerve. So let us go for the functional components and the nuclei of facial nerve. To understand it better, we will go to a simple schematic diagram for the functional component. So there are four functional components of the facial nerve. So we will go to the four columns. So this is the first column. This is the second. This is the third. And this is the fourth column. Now this additional column we will do to show the schematic division of the midbrain stem into the midbrain, pons and medulla. So this represent the midbrain, this represent the pons and this represent the medulla. So now this is midbrain, this is pons and this is medulla. Now coming to the functional component. So as already mentioned, there are four functional components. So first functional component, it is the spatial visceral efferent, SVE. Now all the SVE fibers, they take origin from the nuclei of SVE column, that is the spatial visceral efferent column, and they supply the striated muscle developing from branchial or pharyngeal arches. So in the facial nerve also, these spatial visceral efferent fibers, they arise from the motor nucleus, which is located in the pons. So this is the motor nucleus. From it the fibers arise and they supply the muscle derived from mesoderm of second branchial arch, that is the muscle of facial expression. So the fibers, SVE fibers, they arise from the motor nucleus and they supply the muscle of facial expression. Yeah. So this is the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. Now the coming to the second component, it is the general visceral efferent. So it is GVE, that is the general visceral efferent. Now the general visceral efferent fibers, they arise from the salivatory nucleus, superior salivatory nucleus and the lacrimatory nucleus, which is located again in the pons. So superior salivatory nucleus and the lacrimatory nucleus. Now the fibers arising from the superior salivatory nucleus, they go and they relay in the submandibular ganglion. So there are two ganglions over here, that is the submandibular ganglion and the pterygopalatine ganglion. The fibers arising from the superior salivatory nucleus, they go and they take relay in the submandibular ganglion, while those from the lacrimatory nucleus, they go and take relay in the pterygopalatine ganglion. The postganglionic fibers from the submandibular ganglion, they go and supply the submandibular and sublingual glands. So they supply the submandibular and sublingual glands, whereas the postganglionic fibers from the pterygopalatine ganglion, they supply the lacrimal gland. Yeah? So this is general visceral efferent column, and the fibers, they arise from the superior salivatory nucleus and the lacrimatory nucleus. From the superior salivatory nucleus, they go to the submandibular ganglion. So this is submandibular ganglion. Those from the lacrimatory nucleus, they go and relay in the pterygopalatine ganglion. So this is pterygopalatine ganglion. Postganglionic fibers goes to submandibular and sublingual. Here they goes to lacrimal gland. Now coming to the third component. The third component is the spatial visceral afferent column. That is the SVA. Now these SVA fibers, these are concerned with the taste sensation. These fibers, they are concerned with the taste sensation, and cell bodies of these fibers, it is located in the geniculate ganglion. So here we will go for the geniculate ganglion. The cell bodies of this, they are located in the geniculate ganglion, and they are concerned with the nucleus of Tractus solitarius. Now nucleus of Tractus solitarius, it is located in the medulla. So this is nucleus of Tractus solitarius, and we have already mentioned that cell bodies are located in the geniculate ganglion. Now the peripheral process of these cell bodies, they are responsible for carrying the taste sensation from the taste buds from anterior 2/3 of the tongue. So they are responsible for carrying the taste sensation from anterior 2/3 of the tongue, whereas the central process of this, they carry this sensation to upper part of the nucleus of Tractus solitarius. So the sensations, they are carried further to the upper part of the nucleus of Tractus solitarius. Then coming to the fourth component, that is the general somatic afferent. So it is GSA, that is the general somatic afferent. Now these fibers, they have their cell bodies again in the geniculate ganglion, and they are concerned with the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So this is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. This is spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. The cell bodies we have mentioned, they are located in the geniculate ganglion. Now the peripheral process of this cell, they innervate the skin of external ear. So they innervate the skin of ear, and the central process, they go and terminate in the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So they terminate in the spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. Yeah. So these are the four components. So we have seen the first component, that is the spatial visceral efferent. So here we will go for the full form of it. Spatial visceral efferent. This in short we have called SVE. The SVE column, it arises from the motor nucleus and it is responsible to supply the muscle of face. The second component is the general visceral efferent. So it is general visceral efferent and we have called it GVE. Now this second component, the fibers, they arise from the superior salivatory nucleus and the lacrimatory nucleus. Those from superior goes to submandibular ganglion, further to submandibular and sublingual gland. Those from the lacrimatory nucleus goes to pterygopalatine ganglion, further to lacrimal gland. The third component is the spatial visceral efferent. So this is spatial visceral afferent column. We called it SVA. Now this component, it is responsible for carrying the taste sensation from anterior 2/3 of the tongue, and these sensations are further carried to the nucleus of Tractus solitarius. So this is nucleus of Tractus solitarius. Yeah. The fourth component we have seen is the general somatic afferent. So this is general somatic afferent column, GSA. Now this column, it is, so this is general somatic afferent column. Now this GSA, it is responsible for innervating the skin of ear and the central process, they terminate in the spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. So this is spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve. Yeah. So these are the four functional components and the nuclei of facial nerve. Now coming to the course and relation of the facial nerve. Course and relations of the facial nerve. Now, the complete course of the facial nerve may be discussed under intraneural course, intracranial course, intrapetrous and extracranial part. The facial nerve, it arises by two roots, motor root and the sensory root, and already we have seen that sensory root, it is also called as nervus intermedius. So facial nerve, it arises by two roots, motor and a sensory root, from the ventral aspect of the brainstem. Now to see the facial nerve course of the facial nerve, we will go to the simple diagram showing the brainstem. So this is the ventral aspect of the brainstem, and we have mentioned that it arises by two roots, motor root and the sensory root, from the ventral aspect of the brainstem. So this is the motor root and this is the sensory root of the facial nerve. Now the motor root of the facial nerve, in its intraneural course, it has some special course. To see this, first we will go to the nuclei of the facial nerve that we have already seen. So we have seen there is motor nucleus of the facial nerve. Then we have seen the superior salivatory and the lacrimatory nucleus of the facial nerve. Then we have seen there is nucleus of Tractus solitarius, and finally we have seen the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So all these we have already seen. So to see the course of the motor root, here we will draw the abducent nucleus. So now this is motor nucleus of the facial nerve. This is superior salivatory nucleus. This is spinal nucleus of trigeminal nerve, and this is nucleus of tractus solitarius, and this is the abducent nucleus. The motor root of the facial nerve, in its intraneural course, it passes dorsomedially, winds round the abducent nucleus, and then it passes from medial to lateral side. Finally, it passes ventrolaterally and downward and emerge at the cerebellopontine angle. So this is the course adopted by the motor nucleus of the motor root of the facial nerve. So it passes dorsomedially, winds round the abducent nucleus from medial to lateral side, then it runs ventrolaterally and downward and emerge at the cerebellopontine angle. Yeah. Then coming back to the motor root and the sensory root. The motor root, so this is motor root and this is the sensory root. The motor and the sensory root from the ventral aspect of the brainstem. Further, they passes to reach the internal acoustic meatus. So further in the intracranial course, the two roots, after arising from the brainstem, they passes laterally and forward along with the 8th cranial nerve and reach the internal acoustic meatus. So this is internal acoustic meatus. Yeah. So these two roots along with the 8th cranial nerve, that is the vestibulocochlear nerve, they go to the internal acoustic meatus. So this we will label internal acoustic meatus. Now in the meatus, if we take the cross section of the meatus, the motor root of the facial nerve, it lies in a groove of 8 nerve. Now if we go for the cross section of the meatus, so we can see this is the cross section of the meatus. This is the 8th cranial nerve. So this is the 8th cranial nerve, that is the vestibulocochlear nerve. The motor root of the facial nerve, it lies in the groove of the 8th cranial nerve. So this is motor root of the facial nerve, and the sensory nerve intervene between the two. Sensory root, it intervenes between the two. Clear? Here both the nerves, that is the 7th and the 8th nerves, they are accompanied by labyrinthine vessels. So here lies the labyrinthine vessels. So if we take the cross section, we are able to see the structures, they are arranged in this way. So coming back to the course of the facial nerve, the motor and sensory root from the brainstem along with the 8th cranial nerve, they reach the internal acoustic meatus. We have seen the arrangement of all these in the meatus. Then at the bottom of the meatus, the two roots, that is the sensory and the motor root of the facial nerve, fuse to form a single trunk. So when they come out of the meatus, at the bottom of the meatus, they form a single trunk. Here they leave the company of the 8th nerve and here they enter the facial canal. Yeah. So after coming out of the internal acoustic meatus, they leave the company of 8 nerve, forms a single trunk and enter the facial canal. Now the further course is in the facial canal and it is the intrapetrous course. Now within the canal, the course of the nerve can be divided into 3 parts by 2 bends. The first part, it is directed laterally. The second part, it is directed backward. And the third part, it is directed vertically downward. Okay. The first part, it is directed laterally above the vestibule. The second part, it is directed backward and it forms a short arch over the promontory. So here there lies the promontory and here it forms a short arch over the promontory. The third part, it is directed vertically downward behind the promontory. So here there is promontory and behind the promontory it is directed vertically downward. Because of this course, 3 part, there is formation of the 2 bend. This is the first bend and this is the second bend. The first bend is sharp and it is called as genu. So this bend we call it genu and it lies over the antero-superior part of the promontory. At the genu, the facial nerve presents an asymmetrical swelling known as the geniculate ganglion. The second bend, it is gradual and this is the second bend and it lies between the promontory and the adductus to antrum. Now for better understanding of these relations, we will go back to the middle ear. So when we have seen the middle ear, we have seen that this is the medial wall of the middle ear. In this we have seen that this is the facial canal. This complete is the facial canal. So this is the first part which is directed laterally. The second part which is directed backward and the third part which is directed vertically downward. The second part which is directed backward, it is forming a arch over the promontory. This is the promontory which is the bulging formed by the first turn of cochlea. Yeah. Now because of this there is formation of the 2 bends. So this is the first bend called as genu which lies over the antero-superior part of promontory. The second bend, it is gradual and it lies between the promontory and the adductus to antrum. So this is adductus to antrum. Yeah. And the third part, it is vertically directed downward and it reaches up to the stylomastoid foramen. Yeah. So these are the relations. So coming back to the course of the facial nerve, the same thing we have drawn over here. First part, second part, third part, first bend and second bend. Now finally the nerve, after passing through the facial canal, it leaves the skull by passing through the stylomastoid foramen. So here only we have seen that this is the stylomastoid foramen. So after passing through the facial canal, it comes out of the stylomastoid foramen. The same thing we are going to draw over here. So after passing vertically downward, it comes out through the stylomastoid foramen. So this is the stylomastoid foramen and the facial now leaves the skull by passing through the stylomastoid foramen. Now its extracranial course starts. In its extracranial course, the facial nerve changes the direction. It passes forward superficial to the styloid process. So it passes forward superficial to the styloid process. Now again we can go to this diagram. So here after coming out the facial nerve, this is the styloid process and it passes superficial to the styloid process. Clear? So it passes forward superficial to the styloid process and further it pierces the posteromedial surface of parotid gland. So here there lies the parotid gland and it pierces the posteromedial surface of the parotid gland. Within the parotid gland, it runs forward for about 1 centimeter, crossing the retromandibular vein and external carotid artery. And then it divides into 5 terminal branches which emerges at the anterior border of parotid gland. These branches we are going to see when we will go for the branches of the facial nerve. So this is the complete course of the facial nerve. So what we have seen, the facial nerve, it arises by 2 roots, motor root and the sensory root from the ventral aspect of brainstem. After emerging from it along with the 8th nerve, it goes to the internal acoustic meatus. Then at the bottom of the internal acoustic meatus, it forms a single trunk and leaves the company of the 8th nerve. And here it enters the bony facial canal. In the facial canal, it has 3 parts. First part directed laterally, second part directed backward and third part directed vertically downward. Because of this, there is formation of 2 bend. One is sharp called as genu and other is gradual. After passing through the bony facial canal, it comes out of the stylomastoid foramen. Then in its extracranial course, it passes forward superficial to the styloid process, pierces the parotid gland and then divides into 5 terminal branches. Yeah? So this is complete course of the facial nerve.